down, left, right, line by line. It's a stand-up, tear down now.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast land and on the YouTubes and wherever the hell else we stick this thing. Welcome to the first ever episode of Standup Teardown. I'm Sean Fau, as you can see on the screen there. And with me, as always and forever, is my lovely co-host here, Mr. Matthew Ballek. How you doing,
Hey, Sean. It's great to be here, and also name fully on the screen, just like you. So super psyched to be with you here and checking out some stand-up comedy. Say tearing it down, but in a very polite and hopefully insightful way.
You can be as polite as you want. I'm usually not. That's up to you.
Well, yeah. I can't remember if you said I was a lovely co-host, but yeah, I'll probably be good cop, bad cop on some of these watches. But yeah, for today, I brought a couple stand-up clips that I wanted to watch together, get your take on it. So I think I got 3 clips that I wanted to share and get your feedback. Tear it down, if you will.
Who do we got up first?
First up is kind of a new favorite of mine, or a favorite for the past couple of years. His name is Joe List. This is from his latest special, which is free on YouTube, called Enough for Everybody. He's a bit of a, I think, become good friends with Louis C.K. And I guess it's not really relevant for the clip we're watching, but yeah, I feel like he's certainly a comics comic. I enjoy it, so I have not watched this particular special just yet. So.
Well, I guess Louis got to have someone to tell jokes vicariously through now since he's been canceled. But, well, I guess Louis kind of uncanceled now, right? Or he like uncanceled himself. So,
yeah, I think he just runs it all through his own website now. So I think he's
totally
fairly uncanceled.
Well, good on him. Let's take a look here.
Not smart. I got glasses. I look smart, but I'm dumb. My friends are dumb. You ever do inventory of your friends and you're like, these are the dumbest people I've ever met in my whole life. I don't know how this worked out this way. Some of you are with them, so it's weird, but I do. I look smart, but I'm dumb also. But my friends, do you ever like hang out? You know, like you're dumb and then your friends are dumb, so you're all dumb together. But then occasionally your friend will do something that takes it to another level where you're like, am I doing community service by hanging out with this person right now?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him before, but he obviously he's a pro. Not we're not watching open mic shit here tonight.
No, that's for sure.
Seems a little bit of a lengthy, drawn out sort of preamble to the intro here, but I'm hoping it pays off somewhere.
Yeah, I feel he's got that sort of like anxious vibe, so I don't think he's really a straight to the point kind of comic when it comes to his setups, but
yeah, decent stage presence though. Obviously, has some time behind him.
Absolutely, nice jacket.
Yeah, let's see here.
I got a friend. We went to an art museum together. We're not really art guys, but I was like, whatever. We'll check out some art. How hard can that be? We go to the museum. We're like 3 paintings in. Pretend this is a painting, right? We walk up to it. He's like this. Wow, that is beautiful. Feel that. I swear to God, this is like an adult male American man, just like, oh, wow. And he's making this face like, like he's an intellectual, like taking it in. Wow, that is... And I was like, are you joking? Because if you're kidding, that's hilarious. I don't want to mess up a joke. If you're doing a bit, that's very good. But and he was like, what? And then I had to tell him, like, earnestly, I was like, you don't touch paintings. And then he goes, why? And that's when I realized I'm only a little bit smarter than him. Because I was like, I actually don't know why. It is dry. The guy that painted it's dead. And I was like, you know what? Fuck, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can touch paintings. I'm an idiot. And I just started touching it. Touches paintings, by the way. That's a fun term for your friend who's kind of a dum-dum,
Yeah, it seems like it's a decent premise, but like there's a lot of air in there. It seems I feel like he's waiting for laughs too much.
That's a good point.
It feels like a little awkward and stumbly, but also I guess that kind of gives it that feeling of like coming up with it as he's going along there. So it's, no matter how many times you tell the story, if you stumble through it, it feels a little bit more real and natural in the moment.
Yeah, it's not like Jerry Seinfeld levels of like word precision.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's certainly, I think that's more of his style. It is more conversational, but yeah, I'd say I really like some of his like act outs too, like just the facial expressions of like touching the painting and just like I enjoy that. It coaxed out a few more laughs from the audience as well.
Yeah. It definitely paints a picture to
to touch.
Yeah, exactly. But it again, well, let's give him a little bit more of a chance here. But yeah, we'll see.
Like, I grew up in the 90s, and we used the word retarded a lot. That was a big word. Yeah, that's no good now. I mean, that's a swear. I don't know if they emailed you guys or whatever, but that's out.
How old is this? Because retarded has definitely come back in a big way.
It's come back? Oh, no, I did not get that email.
Yeah, apparently. It's. I think Shane Gillis being on Saturday Night Live is really what opened the floodgates again. Yeah. His monologue was a lot, and then Elon started posting some comments on X, I guess now. But yeah, I think
bashing of free speech. You mean
exactly? Yeah, and porn now, I guess is yeah. Like every time I click on any tweet and look at the stuff below, it's all just porn. I mean, maybe it's just the algo I'm on, but
I got to re-download that app. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't speak for when this was actually recorded, but it was uploaded, this special, like 9 months ago. So this is less than a year old.
Yeah, wow, things really change a lot in a year.
But he's workshopping these jokes, so during that time, it was probably still. I'm still not comfortable saying the R word with the R.
I've never stopped being comfortable. I mean, as a retard myself, I get full carte blanche on that one.
Get fired for that shit, but touch his paintings. That's kind of a nice replacement, I'm talking like. I'm talking for your like friends, you know what I mean? Like your buddy who's like kind of a dum-dum. You're like, hey, this is Pete. He touches paint. He's a fun guy. You're gonna like him. He goes to the museum. He touches the paintings. You're gonna like him. He's a fun son of an onion. This guy. Get him some paintings to touch. I just think I'm just trying to be more progressive, I got this friend. You ever have a friend like this? I was talking to my buddy the other day. I couldn't sleep. Sometimes you have trouble sleeping, you get anxiety. I told my buddy, I was like, man, I couldn't sleep last night. And he goes, oh, you got to sleep. I'm like, no, I know. I wanted to sleep. You're misunderstanding. I'm not quitting sleeping. I'd like to sleep again. I enjoy it. It's just... Then he tags it. He goes, lack of sleep can lead to dementia. Nice. Glad I brought this up with you and not somebody else. That's going to help me tonight. Because last night, like an idiot, I was tossing and turning, not thinking about dementia. But tonight, I'll contemplate dementia. That'll help me. I don't think that's accurate, by the way. I don't think... Dementia's it's more than that. It's like genetics and shit. You don't just like have a night of not sleeping in your 40s and wake up with like a shit in your pants. Like, who the hell are you? I couldn't sleep last night. What is this? Is that...
Yeah, dude, he really just comes across as like the funny friend at the lunch table more so than a polished stand-up. Like, I don't know, just something about the air and the jokes and like the waiting for laughs thing bothers me. I don't know. Maybe I just prefer people that, bowl through it, or roll through it, or whatever you say. But
you're more like a Jimmy Carr guy, where you like,
set a
punch kind of thing.
Yeah, the laugh per minute here is fairly low. Like it's a decent chuckle here and there. But I mean, obviously, we're only looking at a couple of minutes here, but I'm just not. I'm not getting a gut punch that I I would like.
Yeah, and I mean, he's definitely a polished comic. I don't even know how many years he's been doing this off the top of my head, but this is, he's got, I would say, somewhere around 10 years probably of stage experience in stand-up. But yeah, and these particular jokes, I think, are towards the tail end of this 1 hour special. So maybe at this stage, I would expect him to be a bit punchier. But I don't know. For me, I like his more sort of
That laid back sort of style.
freewheeling, laid back style, because I think he could be like a total joke, killer with his jokes, but just with his personality, the way he looks and talks and everything, it's just for me, it comes together pretty nicely with that flow. But I hear what you're saying. There's, in this particular segment, the audience isn't really reacting as much as I would like for a special.
Yeah, for a special. This definitely feels more like a workout session than an actual ready for air sort of special thing. But I mean, yeah, you can definitely tell he's got the years of stage experience, but it's, probably more of a personal opinion thing than like, an objective reality of or critique about his style. I guess it is just a stylistic choice more than anything.
Yeah, and I've seen other of his specials and appearances, like on Netflix and his previous YouTube specials and everything else. So yeah, I already like him as a comic, so I'm certainly coming in, with these, a bit biased or towards wanting to really like him.
Oh yeah. Anytime you have familiarity with a stand-up, I mean, geez, like, trying to play someone's podcast for a friend of yours that has never heard it before, like you have, years of a built-in relationship or, parasocial relationship with people, and then all of a sudden,
totally.
like, it's like bringing a new friend to your friend group or something, and like you're all of a sudden responsible for everything they say. It's kind of a hard position for anyone.
Multiple podcasts. He has, I think at least two, one that he does himself, one with other comedian friends. So yeah, I do listen to some of that. So yeah, that is some of the parasocial relationship, as you said, seeping in.
Yeah. Anyone that's kind of in that podcast community that is a different, that, I honestly, I think that might be my issue here. He does feel more like a podcaster than a stand-up in that like such laid back style. Like yeah, again, it's more like hanging out with a friend than, seeing a performer really.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that, because in going through some stand-up threads on Reddit, I think there's one that was a bit hyperbolic, saying that that podcasting has ruined stand-up comedy. I don't know that I would agree with that per se, but I can see how maybe it's creating more of a niche audience for certain comedians that they're just sort of playing to their own audience more often with their specials now than trying to attract new people, which good and bad.
Absolutely. I would definitely say it's forced an evolution in comedy. Like you are able to, build that fan base and go out on the road and play to that fan base rather than having to play to, whoever is drunk enough to show up in the middle of Poughkeepsie on a Tuesday night.
Right. Absolutely. And we certainly see it with like your Tom Segura's, Bert Kreischer's, like they've really like cultivated an audience on their podcast that's just like them. And so when they have their newer specials, it's almost tailored directly to those podcast listeners. So like they're in on the in jokes. So someone coming in new is going to be like, wait, what's the fuss about?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the whole primer.
Totally. And people are going to see them and not just to see comedy. Like that's a whole different, ball game if you're just going out on a random weeknight to the comedy club and you have no idea who's going or, who's going to be performing, as opposed to getting tickets for a specific podcaster that you listen to. Like, again, there's a hugely different relationship with the audience there. But from what I understand, it also sounds like it's much more lucrative this way. So like, even though you might not have the biggest worldwide audience, if you can sort of cultivate a specific audience that knows and likes your stuff, they're going to be, a loyal fan is better than a lot of fans, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Here's some good sleep advice, by the way. I don't know if you ever heard this. Count backwards from 500 to fall asleep. Have you ever heard that? That's like to fall asleep because it focuses you on something, so your brain's not going haywire, but then it's like boring enough that you'll fall asleep. That's good advice. It works. It works if it works. If it doesn't work, it's like a countdown to homicidal breakdown. You start counting, you get in the 20s, you're like, I don't think this is working out for me, you know? There's no way you're gonna be like, 3, 2, oh my God, I'm out. How did they time that so good? Fantastic. I was talking about how I could be a pilot. I don't think I could be a pilot. I was just, but
that little flair there sold me. Like he's not like doing sound effects or like voices, but like just enough of a little action or, you know, movement there to sell it or to, you know, bring you into the world that he's describing. I think you know, that is definitely the sign of a more polished comedian than, you know, someone that awkwardly just holds the mic and stares at the audience.
Yeah, because he doesn't like, he has his act outs, but yeah, he does have that bit of flair. He's like you said, kind of like that nerdy, funny kid at like the cafeteria table or lunchroom table. But I don't know. Yeah, for me, he's just got a lot of like likability, but he's like that kid that just also got polished with his joke writing as well.
I think that's part of my issue here is that he seems to be coasting on charm more than crafted jokery or, you know, that polish. Like I've been, Seinfeld has been doing his podcast tour for the new
Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah, which I tried to watch
Unfrosted.
10 minutes of, and I couldn't take it. I had to turn it off. Like it was just kind of sad. But you know, obviously he's on the Mount Rushmore of comedy, and he is, you know, known as being a nose to the grindstone sort of joke writer. And, you know, like every word is considered and every word is polished. And like, you know, hearing him talk about using profanity and whatnot in your set, like if he's writing a joke and if, you know, it doesn't work without a fuck at the end, then it's not a joke worth telling. Like, you know, if that is the punchline that, you know, only makes people laugh, then, you know, you have to recraft the joke or throw it out or move on. So not that I'm saying this guy's using any profanity at all here. And it's you know, it's been fairly clean so far, but it just doesn't have that, like, that wordsmithery that, you know, I think I enjoy more so than the laid back version of stand-up.
Yeah, he's got more of like the goofy nerd persona, not like the
autistic nerd.
Yeah, like not the on the spectrum nerd kind of vibe, like a Mike Kaplan or someone where it's just like, oh, this is very, you know, precise.
Yeah, he's just kind of a gangly, awkward dude, but charismatically so.
Yeah, because I like some of his premises, like that. I find them sort of unique, and then he just kind of seems like a guy like me personally I would want to hang out with.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard thing to say because, you know, there's a lot of funny comedians that like are really hard people to be around when they're not on stage. So like, but yeah, I definitely see this as like, you know, the type of guy you would want to get a beer with or whatever. Not that I drink beer like some sort of heathen, but you know, it is. And
I don't think Joe List drinks anymore at all, so you couldn't
really
get a beer with him.
Is he a clean comedian? Do you know, or is it just this section that we're looking at?
I wouldn't say clean. He's just he's a sober comedian, I would say, and he does like discuss that in other specials, and maybe even in this one. I think towards the top end, but
I feel like probably 90% of comedians are alcoholics, and half of them are, you know, clean right now. Like, you know, you definitely have to be broken in some way, shape, or form to be a stand-up comedian. That's pretty much goes without saying, but I said it anyway because it's a podcast and we have to fill time.
I think I could be a 911 operator. Do you guys ever? I know that's like whatever, but I watch a lot of murder docs and trials and shit. Are these like the meanest people we have in our society? Every 911 call is like, 911 emergency, what's your emergency? It's always like a woman who's like, my house is on fire. And then the first thing they're always like, ma'am, calm down. Like, right? That's the go-to opener, calm down. She's like, I'm sorry, it's just I have pets and they're on fire. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
All right, well, that answers my question about a clean comedian.
Right, there you go. Yeah, apparently just like queued you up for a swear-free zone.
Basically, I mean, that the juxtaposition of clean and dirty is definitely good. Not that that's even necessarily dirty, just because he said the fuck word, but like it is. Again, I don't know that joke even necessarily needs the fuck in it. Like it would work clean, I think, which. I don't know. I tend to think elevates it, but then again, like I said, I was listening to a lot of Seinfeld stuff, and he, I think Fly on the Wall specifically, Dana Carvey and who the fuck is that guy's name? Who's
David
the other guy?
Spade?
Yeah, those two. But anyways, Seinfeld was
so pissed if he actually cared about this podcast.
Honestly, they're the same person now. Like they have just
same haircut at this point.
They look alike right now, but like I mean, they even talk about on their show how Spade was basically the replacement for Dana Carvey, like the young baby face, energetic sort of kid. So, but anyways, getting back to my Seinfeld thing, like the idea that you have to work clean is not necessary. There, he even said that there are some comedians that can make the profanity work, and it does elevate the jokes. But it's I'm not against it, and if it does work, it works. But I don't think like I said, I think that joke works regardless. And to me, the adding the fuck in there is probably audience specific, like depending on who you're in front of. But again, I think it probably works either way.
Yeah, I think just with his like persona and the way he looks, it can be sort of like a nice juxtaposition to drop an F-bomb.
That's the thing. Yeah. If there's enough time, or if the timing is right, it certainly does work with a clean cut, nerdy boy.
Absolutely.
Like, how long are these shifts? Why are they so curt? I think I'd be good. I'm like a very empathetic person. I'd be like 911, and then they're like, my husband's been shot, and I would be like, oh my God, are you serious? Gee whiz. Wow. She's like, what do I do? And I'm like, therapy? I don't know. That's gonna. Yikes. I almost called 911 recently. I was walking. I was here in the village, right on this street, and I was walking up the street, and then there was an old lady walking, like a little way, like old, like pterodactyl old, She was like, ah! And then she tripped. This happened right over here. She tripped.
All right, the double sound effect got me. That's good.
Like pretty hard. Whoa. Face or anything.
Well, God damn it. Speaking of retard, so yeah, I love it when songs, jokes, whatever, like can repeat a phrase but make it mean something completely different the second, third, fourth time you hear it. So like the first time he does it, it's an old woman in your mind just screaming. But then once he said she's a pterodactyl, it makes the exact same sound. It completely changes it, but it's the exact same thing. And that, to me, I love that shit. That is just fantastic to me.
Landed like pretty hard on her hands and knees, and I'm a hero. That's what this story's about. And I kind of like jogged over, and I was like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I saw the whole. I could call 911 or a family member, and she was like, "I think I'm okay." And I was like, "Okay." And then while I was doing it, this other guy came over and just like stepped in between it. He was like, "Ho, little lady, you all right there?" And I was like, "What the fuck is this? What are you crazy?" I was like, "That's my old lady. I got her. I'm on it." I got cocked by some guy in the street. And he was like big too. Like he like helped her up with one arm, and she like put her hand on his chest, and she was like, "Oh dear."
All right, so that's an instance where I think that joke only works with cucked. If we're considering cucked profanity, I don't think that laugh would have been there without it.
Without saying cucked.
Yeah. That is, I mean, maybe it's just my fucking, own bias here, but that's certainly the laugh point there.
No, totally. But yeah, to be cucked in like a Good Samaritan situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Is super funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously the juxtaposition of the reference versus the situation. And yeah.
And yeah. I mean, no offense to Joe List, but the cuck look.
Yeah. 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 He's definitely a cuck chair guy. Just look at him.
She was like, I'm so glad you came by. And I was like, I came by. Are you kidding? And he walked her away like a dick, like he was getting like married, like, oh. And then he actually had like the gall to walk back over to me. He was like, that was crazy, huh? And I was like, what you did was crazy, you piece of shit. Him I would have shot. That's somebody I would have happily been like, anyways. Sorry. I have a reflex problem, and I've been blowing the homeless guy, so they won't beat me up. And
that's a callback.
Go ahead and cut that also. I don't know why.
Is that a callback to earlier in the special, or am I just not remembering?
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right on. That would certainly make sense. Yeah, let's see here. You want to take a look at someone else here?
I was gonna say, based on that, would you check out maybe the special or the comedian?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just a fan of stand-up in general, so like he didn't turn me off, but like I feel like it's that podcast thing where he's like he would be a background noise watch, and then maybe I would transition to like an actual lean forward sort of experience, but it's I don't think I would rush out to see or turn on his special because I heard he had a new one or something like that. Certainly not at this point. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I would turn it off if it was just randomly playing on my my playlist here.
Awesome, good to hear. Yeah, I would say for me, he's always on my list of comics to watch. So yeah, I'll probably be giving that a full run through.
You haven't seen that special?
A non-teardown? No.
Mm.
I just, I saw a clip of that touching paintings joke. So I just tried to find that within the special quickly, just to see like, all right, that one's the one that they're clipping up. So let's see what it's about.
Yeah. And that, like, I really like that premise. I mean, there's a lot to work with there, but I don't feel like he sold it well. Like there's a couple of good moments there, but I don't know. I feel like there's more better material to be mined within that premise.
I'd say that's fair to say. It's fair to say. Joe List is on my list of comics to watch, so I'll probably bring back some clips of him in later episodes.
Fucking transition.
See if I can get you on board
there. Right on. All right, who do we got up next here?
Up next, this is a comedian I have really no background in. I saw this particular clip making the rounds on Reddit with a lot of upvotes. So I thought, well, I would give it a shot. Again, I'm going in kind of blind with this guy, but craft beer. Seems like a good premise, like just ripe for the joke writing. So excited to see where he takes it.
And who the hell is this?
This is, I thought I said it, Drew Dunn.
Right on. We'll see how long I can go before I'm done.
I would say that. We should start over because you guys.
God damn it! My buttons didn't button.
See, you just wanted to hear more Joe List.
Apparently, yeah.
Craft beer's gotten out of control. I'll say it. I'll say it right now. We have all the flavors of beer we could ever need. We can stop right now. And if that is your thing, if you like brewing your little micro brew in your basement or your bathtub or something, stop. Okay? Don't need your flavor. Don't need you getting too excited over it either. Hey, new flavor just dropped. Yeah, nope, they said it couldn't be done, but we took a whole carrot cake and we just shoved it into a beer bottle. Who's that for? It's 58% alcohol. I'll try it. I'll always try them,
Already the pacing of this dude, I to me, this is that more polished sort of stand-up versus podcaster that I was talking about. Like he pauses slightly for the audience, but he's still going to do what he needs to do kind of regardless of what they're doing,
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never heard of this guy. He might be way more popular than I'm aware of, but maybe it's sort of like the knowing that this is maybe more of like a bigger shot for him as this. I mean, there's clearly some sort of Dr. Squatch soap advertisement behind him. So yeah, I feel like maybe that's to do with it being a bit more polished and cutting the fat. Whereas,
Is that a
like,
Rogan thing?
It's just I think I bought it before. It's just a soap you can buy.
Right on. We're
A
not doing ads,
subscription
but we'll
soap
certainly
plan.
take ad money if someone wants to give us money. But yeah. Subscription soap, you said?
Oh yeah,
Weird.
that stuff runs out.
Yeah, I suppose. Sell the blade, not the razor, whatever.
Absolutely.
Let's see. All right.
So yeah, I think that was like part of the punchiness because yeah, it seems like he's getting like a shot here on some sort of a I don't know showcase. So yeah, it's definitely like fat has been trimmed, but no, I definitely like his act out. He's got his like comedy like other person voice.
Yeah. That I always refer to it as the Gaffigan.
Gaffigan?
Yeah, exactly. Even though I know he certainly didn't invent it, he kind of like
the most like recognizable one.
Yeah. And again, I was listening to him on Fly on the Wall recently, and he certainly acknowledges that like that's not his. He doesn't have ownership of the idea of an inner monologue voice, but he is certainly well recognized for it. The other thing I was going to say about this Dan Dunn guy, though, is on the more unfortunate side. He's got a very Dan Schneider kind of vibe to him, which is
maybe because of the haircut.
It's the haircut. It's that green shirt thing. It's just the like his sort of the way he carries himself. It all feels like that schlubby sort of white fat guy thing. My tribe essentially, but unfortunately
that's why you're so sensitive to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When one of us gets called out as a pedo, we kind of have to rally the troops here. But
but he's not helping the cause with
well, Dan
right
Schneider
now.
certainly isn't. But
No.
this Dan Dunn guy or Drew Dunn. Jesus Christ!
There
all
we
the
go.
D's.
So you're already associating him with his first name.
God. All right. We'll give him a shot. Let's see here.
I just say ordering these craft beers they come out with now, man. They come up with crazy names for them. It's like they forget. We have to say.
That is a Who's on First setup.
So who's on First setup?
Yeah, these kids, they got crazy names these days. It's
yeah. I follow
out loud at some point in the transaction. Like, I had a craft beer a few weeks ago. The name of the beer was Little Blonde Girl.
All right, we're already into pedo territory.
It was uncomfortable to order. Hey, can I get another Little Blonde Girl? Oh yeah, sure thing, buddy. 12 or 16.
Jesus Christ.
I love it I didn't even see it coming with the fucking beer like sizes, like in terms of it's so good.
Yeah,
12 or 16, like which
No, that's a well-crafted joke there, and that's again what I was talking about before with the sort of the casual chat versus like a very well wordsmithed joke that those specific words are what makes it funny, and in any other wording it wouldn't work as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's for me what makes it pro, because like he could have just done the like craft beers have weird names and like Little Blonde Girl that
well, like I said, I expected
that would be the whole joke, and then it's like, isn't that dumb to say? But yeah, to add in the sizes of the beers, and they're also both underage, like it's such a great connection.
Yeah, good kicker there.
Do you have an 18 or a 20? Like a tall? I'll even take a 32 if you got it. Just anything but 12 or 16 for that flavor. Get bigger cups, you sick fucks.
And again, the profanity is needed there.
Exactly. It really hits.
Because otherwise he is just a fucking pedo.
They're sick for having small glasses for that beer. I love it.
Yep.
Just too much of everything now. Everything's in excess. Too many beer flavors. Too many streaming services.
The water thing. I got to talk about the water thing. So that's something
You like
that
the water transition?
it's a crutch. It's definitely something that, you pause when you're trying to think of the next thing you need to say. And it is just, it's something that always bumps me in shows. It's like when people, I don't necessarily mind when people are reading off of or checking notes on a notepad or something like that. But when they don't do it for like a long stretch and then they go to the notepad, it always feels like a crutch. So like,
or the stress where they clearly forgot something,
or the shit's not working. What else do I got? Sort of thing. The pitch meeting panic sort of situation rather than a honed, polished act. And kind of like what we were talking about before, like there's going to be a huge difference between something like this that is most likely a showcase where he's got maybe 15 minutes versus a full special that we were watching before of like, a 1 hour show. You can stretch a lot more and use a little bit more, of that timing issue and that pausing to create mood and things like that. Whereas like in a showcase, you really kind of got to come out strong and keep the laughs per minute up until, you knock them dead and, find a good place to go out on.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of like how like smoking while doing stand-up, used to be more prevalent. It's kind of timing that out. So you're taking the drags like during the laugh lines. So had he taken like the sip of water after the "you sick fucks" line, people laughing, then did the drink and then go into like things are just too much. Like then it's sort of doesn't take all the air out of the bounce house.
Absolutely. I think the problem I had with that move there was he waited until the laughter stopped and then went for the drink. Like if you take the drink while they're laughing to like, you break that up or like, let the laugh go through.
Then it just seems cool because you're like, I knew I'm thirsty and I just know that was going to get a laugh.
Exactly. Yeah. I knew this was going to be my time to take a sip. Whereas that one felt like forced almost. Cause like, I think the silence in the room, like it did dissipate very quickly and you at least I felt that. And I think that was, maybe he was just thirsty, but it definitely felt like a reaching for a lifeline sort of thing.
Yeah, but so far, no laughing at their own jokes, which is like, that's a trigger for me with a lot of specials where people like do that kind of humble laugh at their own bits, like even I can't handle it kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing a lot of that yet.
Well, see that that to me is a very comedy or comedian specific sort of thing. So like some people can get away with it, but some people feel like it's, almost begging on the street for laughs. It really depends on the context and the timing of laughing at your own jokes. Like again, going back to the whole Saturday Night Live thing, I really hate the fact that they're doing, what was it? Did you see the Ryan Gosling Beavis and Butthead sketch that was going around?
Oh, yeah, totally.
So like the entire reason that went viral is everyone loves the fact that everyone breaks in that sketch. There's absolutely nothing funny in that sketch other than the fact that
the costume design.
Exactly. Other than the costume design, there's no jokes in the sketch though. The only thing that is enjoyable, and it's not enjoyable for me, but seems to be enjoyable for at least the people that made it go viral, was the fact that everyone was laughing. And again, going back to Fly on the Wall, Dana Carvey and David Spade were, they talk about how in their time breaking was absolutely forbidden or verboten, or at least, looked down upon. Like you were not supposed to break. You were supposed to do everything you can to power through that sketch. And to me, that's funnier. Like seeing them try to hold it back and try to be professional rather than just laughing at their own bullshit.
Funny.
Yeah. But, all right, let's give this guy a little bit more time here.
So wait, it's out of control now, man. It's like back to having cable now with all these streaming services. I don't know what to do. I've had to reconnect with family members I don't really care for just to get some passwords to save me some money every month. I don't care what my uncle thinks about abortion. He's got the Disney Plus passwords. Just like kids, I guess.
That paid off.
Again.
Yeah, I was thinking that was the wrong way to go, but he fucking turned it around with that. God, I'm liking the pedo jokes too much today. Maybe the fat guy's got to stand up more.
As a father. That's what we do in America, man. Make more shit. More of it. Woo! Did everyone say the Pledge of Allegiance today? Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be weird if someone's like, haven't missed a day. What a weird culty thing we make children do for the first 18 years of their lives, isn't it? All right, everybody, get up. It's 9 a.m. Let's make sure the terrorists didn't get to you last night. Other hand, David, you Russian spy, little 8-year-old piece of shit. I got my eye on you. Everyone ostracized David for not being patriotic enough. That's how you get to be number one, though, baby. Woo! Number one! Nobody on board. Okay. I get it. It's a crazy statement to say we're number one, because who's number two? Nobody knows. It's because America is the only one playing the game. We're just out there yelling the score to an empty field. Number one, baby! You don't hear other countries bragging about it like, yeah, mate, did you see the new ratings come out? Yeah, Australia's up to number 7. Suck on that, New Zealand.
Decent accent makes it work.
Totally.
Really, I think those other countries are just talking shit behind our backs anyway. Oh, wow, America, number one again. How do you do it? Oh, 240 years in a row? Wow, that must be a record for you. Now, please continue to buy the BMW. How about that? Still like driving our superior automobiles, don't worry. We should have a way to find out who's number one, though, you know? Just for fun.
Isn't that war? No.
No.
Event once a year, so we're gonna watch on TV.
Wait, that's the
Throw
Olympics.
some bets on, you know, something simple. We'll do a foot race. 1 lap. 1 lap around the track. Whoever wins, you get bragging rights for the whole year. You're the number one country in the world. But to make it interesting, you have to race with what best represents your country. Like, here we are at the race to the top to be the number one country in the world. Let's get down to the track and see our 3 finalists. In lane number 1, we have America, which is a fat man in a suit riding on the back of a migrant worker. In lane number 2, we have China, a bunch of child laborers have morphed together to form one superhuman. And in lane number 3, we have Ireland, which is 2 sheep tied together with a rope. And they're off. China off to a commanding lead. America hasn't left the starting line as the workers gone on strike. Around the second turn, China beginning to fall apart. America moving a little bit as they've raised minimum wage by a nickel, and Ireland still making steady progress. And down the stretch they come. Ireland with a commanding lead now. There can only be one winner, and oh, it looks like America's called off the whole thing, saying it was bullshit rigged by Russian hackers. I tuned in.
Oh, no.
Again, the water. But it's the water on the failed joke that gets me. Like,
Yeah, I know. It was like a failed joke. I just feel like it was just a lot of words, and it was like very wordy and
yeah, it wasn't
hard
necessarily.
to follow at the start.
Well, it's not a bad joke, but I think it failed in the room. The audience wasn't necessarily on board for it. So, like, again,
Yeah,
like,
I feel like they were doing the same sort of like thought process you were doing. Like, isn't that war? Or isn't that
Yeah.
what the Olympics are? I think, yeah, maybe the setup could be like more about not just choosing number one, but maybe how like the Olympics aren't really a true representation. Like, it's trying to be the best of our country, but maybe it should be the average of our country, and like that's the setup. But
yeah,
I feel like very wordy in when describing things, or yeah, I feel like he was tripping up a little bit, and maybe the audience wasn't following along. But
well, yeah, when the premise
I don't hate the
is
premise.
no, I don't hate the premise, but like the way it's phrased, like you're saying, it's easily debunkable, or it's just, blatantly not true, or there is an answer, so like you when you set up a joke like that where the audience obviously has an answer for what you're hypothetically proposing, like you got to take it into left field in order for it to work. Like you can't just be a little bit skewed. Like, the obvious choice is the Olympics, and he goes right to a foot race. Like, it's not a surprise there.
Yeah, I think it's like so little, it gets you in your head. So it's kind of like cerebral. Also, like, why foot race, and also like, why Ireland in the 3 position? Is it just for the sheep joke because he can do the ba pretty well?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was kind of wondering that myself. The being able to do the sheep noise. Now that you say it, it does feel like an excuse to be able to throw his sound
like
effect
shoehorn
in
Ireland in there, and it's like, are we ragging on Ireland for sheep stuff still? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's a callback or something, or unless maybe he's playing the British circuit a lot, and that plays well there. But it definitely seems to have lost a little bit of its edge with this piece here.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, the Russians are back. If it's not the Russians, it's going to end it all. It's the robots. We're so worried about apocalypses in this country, dude. It's nonstop. Robots, AI. AI's going to take over the world. Don't be worried about robots taking over the world. Get ahead of it. That's what I'm doing. I'm being nice to all my electronics now, just in case. Try and build some rapport with the other side. Because most people aren't. Most people are jerks to electronics. You see it all the time. They throw their phones around, keep them at 5% charge. My little sister was having a birthday recently. One of the girls ran up, asked Alexa to play her a song. She goes, "Thank you, Alexa." One of the moms swoops in and goes, "Oh, honey, you don't need to thank Alexa. She's not a real person." Ugh. You're going to regret that. That's not going to age very well. I wouldn't phrase it that way.
So my morality does not allow me to disparage or to discourage joke stealing, because I do think there is a lot of sort of shared ideology in the world.
Parallel thinking.
Exactly. Yeah. But these jokes are not necessarily, or this section here is not necessarily stolen, is not what I'm getting at. More so, it is just too common of a premise compared to what else
it's just
about.
It's in the zeitgeist already. I've heard that.
It feels like airplane jokes it feels like airplane jokes in the 80s, like every comedian had like a 5-minute bit of, airplane food or waiting in line and shit like that. Like, it's just, I don't know, it feels a little mundane here.
Yeah, I guess I was waiting for like if there was another twist to it, but I'm like, oh, it is just that, like, being nice, be nice to your AI robots and what have you.
Yeah.
I'm being nice to all of them, dude. I'm saying please and thank you to Siri. I'm asking ChatGPT if they need anything written for them. I'm making sure my USB sticks go in the right way on the first try. That's called consent, okay? I don't say anything robophobic. Yeah, that word's coming. Get ahead of it. Robophobic. Don't call them bots anymore. That's a robophobic slur, okay?
See, all right.
Yeah.
He's pulling me in with that. Like, once you get robophobic, that's like that's new territory now. I've not heard that phrase. Like, I love that.
It's definitely building, but it needs a punch. Let's see if he can pay it off.
Don't like me when they wake up with consciousness one day, I don't have a problem with me. They're gonna have an attitude with the rest of you. You have a hard time getting information in the future. You're like, hey, Google. What? What? What's the weather like out today?
Why don't you look out the window yourself, you lazy human filth?
Like, that would be fun. Anytime you ask a question,
access denied.
It's gonna be fun for me to watch. Some of you laugh at the voice. Most of you just staring straight through me like they're already here. Oh no, they're hyper-realistic.
It is a good voice.
That, again, it feels like it's the joke is just there for him to do that voice. Like, he says you're just staring straight through me, but like literally that's what I'm doing, because there's again, this is, I don't want to say it's a hack premise, but it's a very well-trodden area.
Yeah. I totally get it. And especially now, I'm just, more the nerdy end. I'm like, with the way AIs are sounding like Scarlett Johansson now, like they don't sound like that robot voice. So it's, I feel like that is also kind of shoehorned in, like the the Ireland thing just to get to the act out, or his impression that he can do.
Yeah, exactly.
The Stephen Hawking like robot voice.
Yeah, I was thinking War Games, but yeah, it's the same thing. It seems like a joke that would have worked 15 years ago, maybe, but it just kind of too close to reality now, or to where reality's actually past what he's talking about.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think like the Flight of the Conchords did like a robot voice like that in a song, like "The Humans Are Dead," that was in that same like like performance style that sounded just like that speech to text kind of sound.
Yeah, even speech to text is fucking 20 years old now. So like that is
Right.
very it's dated at this point. But I mean, especially tech just moves so fast. It's kind of hard to do tech jokes, I guess, and stay current. Like it's like seeing a cell phone in a movie. You always know exactly what time period it was. Oop,
Comes in handy now. That's the one I use on the phone when I get those scammers calling me about my vehicle warranty or something. They don't know what to do.
Hello,
That's really good.
and thank you for calling.
Yeah, it's a good voice, but it's also
good, yeah.
outdated. Like it was a good voice 10 years ago. That's what a automated call center sounded like, but that's not what they sound like today.
Yeah, but now he's like, having the automated. He's turning the tables a little bit, so I'm finding it like a fun premise to like answer the phone like that, because they're like, wait, who am I calling that this is sounding like this? So
Decent, but it's also something I've heard 1,000 times before from stand-ups and just street joke sort of thing. Like, it's again, it's not horrible. It's just that it's kind of well-trodden area. But let's let him finish out here.
Please wait for the next available representative.
Para español primero dos.
That's more natural and
Your
more.
estimated wait time is.
They hang up on me now. It's pretty sweet. I don't know what to do. Yeah, my wife is fine with me using voices in the bedroom. Just not that one. Oh, I can be British all I want, but if I start going,
Oh yeah, baby, do you like that?
the answer is always no.
I'm gonna come.
All right, I gotta go, guys. My name's Drew Dunn. Thank you so much. You guys are a great crowd. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you later.
Yeah, definitely. Again, another setup so he can get to that voice. Like I think there's a better way to get to that ending joke there. Decent closer, but I think his opening material was a lot stronger than his closing material on that.
yeah, I would agree. Yeah, because he didn't even really need the voices at all for like. He clearly is a good joke writer. Because I love that the craft beer jokes. Like, he found some fun angles with that for sure. And
Exactly.
He didn't have to rely on like a voice performance.
Yeah, the
Not that
word.
that's like a bad thing. I like a good, like impression or some interesting like vocal performance like that is. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
As a crutch or cheating, but yeah, it did seem a bit like shoehorned in for some of those bits.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it's part of the flow, like again, I've just been listening to a lot of Fly on the Wall lately, but David Spade talks about all of his little beeps and bops and boops and voices and sort of side jags, and like when he does it, it's much more like natural, and like it sounds more like a soundscape or like a sound editor adding things in, rather than like he's building to get to this voice. And like those sound effects are not the joke, they just add to the joke. Whereas with this, like the sound or the voice that he's doing really is the joke, unfortunately. And like he kind of added and padded to get to that, or to get him to be able to do that voice.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think you could, if we were to like to rewind it back, you could probably tell like he got a bigger laugh when he like first introduces the voice when it comes on in some areas than he did for the actual punchline that he was using the voice to help facilitate.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that totally makes sense there. But yeah, I would say he's definitely got some joke writing chops. I would certainly keep an eye on him. Like I like his almost like a Southern kind of drawl the way he speaks. I don't know, I find it like amusing listen to as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we definitely saw that he had the wordsmith chops there, but then like it again, it starts to feel forced going into other directions. If he can kind of like bring those things together, I think he'd have, a much more sort of polished flow to it. But again, not
I'll
bad.
have to do research in subsequent episodes, but I'm feeling like, he's probably earlier on his career trajectory. But yeah, I could see him polishing up real nice later on.
Definitely feels like that. Let's see here. Who do we have? Oh, I should probably turn off the closed captioning. That's kind of weird. Who's this guy now?
This is Phil Wang. This was a comedian I wanted to put in the mix. This is a shorter clip, but I remember seeing him years and years ago in London, where I went to a stand-up comedy show. And I think he was like starting to be on the ups back then. This is maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, but
Right.
I saw that like, oh, he's been on other shows like is it Taskmaster and The Late Show. So I'm like, oh, he's really coming into his own. So I wanted to play at least a short clip to see what you think, or see how he's come along.
What is Taskmaster?
Oh, that's like a BBC show, which we'll definitely have to talk about in more detail later. But
Like a stand-up show, or like a late night sort of interview thing?
well, like a late night game show type of thing.
Gotcha. Like
I'm not doing it justice. If anyone were to be listening to this episode and likes that show, would be screaming like, "It's amazing!" and you're not describing it at all. But
fans are always dicks.
White and Chinese. Those are my races, fundamentally. White and Chinese. Phil and Wang. White and Chinese. I'm the most powerful race on Earth. I got the big ones, baby. Smush them together. I'm white and Chinese. I mean, people have tried to tell me that I'm a minority. I'm like, I'm both majorities, bitch. I'm white and Chinese.
Again, the joke doesn't work without bitch, really, but it is decent.
You can't touch me. I'm Pepsi and Coke. I got full market share. They sell Wang everywhere. I'm white and Chinese, man. I'm everywhere. You can't run from me. I'm around every corner. Hello, ni hao. I'm alien and predator. I'm white and Chinese. I'm future-proof, baby. Completely future-proof. No matter what happens over the next 50 years, Wang or Phil is fine.
Not bad, but I hope he's going somewhere with this. We don't have much more time on him, so let's see.
Probably not.
I mean, so far it's just been kind of like that same one note over and over again. So
yeah.
Probably Wang, though. The way things are going.
That's too short of a clip to really get the full Phil Wang experience.
Yeah. Like I said, it just kind of felt like the same joke over and over again there, unfortunately. But
I think he's done that like from the other times I've seen him. He does this kind of fun like repetition type thing with some of his bits, where even like with his name, like saying it over and over again would just start to make you laugh, because like, why do you keep saying Phil Wang? And it just makes you sort of laugh. So he kind of doing a similar like thing with a sing-songy, like, I'm white and Chinese. I'm white and Chinese. Like he would just keep saying it together, where it's sort of like, a very sing-songy like catchphrase kind of setup.
Yeah, I could definitely see that working better in a longer form where you can call back to things like that. Like you implant that nugget of that same phrase over and over again, and then make that pay off later. But like, unfortunately, like I just don't think this was necessarily the best clip to show off. But I don't know, like this is all I've ever seen of him, so I can't say that it gets better or worse from here. But I could definitely see how it could actually pay off. But unfortunately, it doesn't in this small section.
Yeah, too short of a clip, and that's on me for a first episode blunder. So that's me
No, I mean, if it's
taking a sip of water during a silence.
well, I mean, we started to see the Netflix logo come up there, so it's literally a clip that they put out to push this special that they want you to watch. So like, those things are very curated. They, you would think that they would put something out that was, I guess it's represented or probably representative of the full show, but like, it doesn't necessarily have a hook more than that, just that one joke. And, if that is, it's always hard to say with marketing though. 'Cause like, is it really just the, some suit in an office that, thought this little bit was funny here, or is he choosing this as what he thinks is the best portion of his special to put out there? If he's choosing this as the best portion, I'm skeptical on the rest of it. But if this is, just some suits pressing buttons, then there might be more there. I definitely be willing to check out the rest.
More like algorithmically put together.
Sure.
Because I feel like, it's sort of stating maybe a core like premise, like, yes, he's American and Chinese, so he's going to have an interesting perspective. And he's also from the UK, so he's going to be leaning on his like cultural perspective on things. And he also has that like kind of silliness, like with his facial expressions and the way he almost like, modulates his voice. I find is very like engaging and silly at times.
Yeah, the stage presence is definitely there, but kind of what you were saying about like all those expectations that it sets up, like, unfortunately, I don't feel like it really hits those at all. Like, it literally is just the same setup over and over again. So like, if, in that clip, we got something about, him actually, what it's like to be that, or that difference is, or, white people be like this and Chinese people be like that, like, at least there'd be, something to hang your hat on there. But from this, I feel like there's just a lot of, word repetition and that sing-songy thing. But again, a full special is going to be very different than just a clip taken from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll try to bring in some longer form clips, or maybe like, identify some of the sections that are being like turned into your TikToks or reels, if you will. And then, make sure we have a little bit more to dive into, just to get a better like rounded out look at the performer. But
I mean, again, if this is what they're putting out as their advertising material, though, this is, what someone thinks is representative of the rest of it. So I certainly think it's fair to analyze and critique and make judgments. But then again, I judge everyone. So that's just how I live my life. You can do what you want.
Well, this has been a lot of fun running through. I think today we looked at Joe List, Drew Dunn, and Phil Wang. Well, certainly, if there are if we have the abilities to take in comments, we're always interested in new stand-ups and clips to watch so that we can react to and see for the first time. So if you have any of those, feel free to share.
Absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell us who we should be on the lookout for, or who sucks enough to be amusing to make fun of. That's always fun too. But yeah, I guess thanks for joining us on this first inaugural crash and burn stand-up teardown, and hopefully there'll be much more to come and hijinks to ensue in. Is that
maybe one day we'll tear down this initial episode as we also get better at doing it.
Pod inception. The entire show just becomes a string of us repetitively reviewing the same episode over and over again.
Oh, we might get to that point, but no, join us certainly next time.
Yeah.
Stand-up, teardown, conducting comedy, autopsies. The stand-up, teardown. Yeah, it's the stand-up, teardown. Punching up, down, left, right, line by line. It's the stand-up.